What is the cashless effect? The cashless effect describes our tendency to be more willing to spend when we are not using physical money in a transaction. This means we're more likely to make a purchase using a credit card than if we had to pay with cash. Where does this bias occur? This effect occurs in any scenario where digital forms of payment are used instead of cash. Unfortunately, whether it's for a big or small purchase, we're likely to spend more money when we don't physically hand it over. For instance, imagine you're at a store looking at an $899 TV. You might hesitate to buy it if you had to pay in cash due to the physical act of handing over a large sum of money. However, if you can use a credit card, you might proceed with the purchase more easily. Individual effects. Digital payments change our spending habits. We tend to be more liberal with our money when it exists in a digital form and might spend money we wouldn't if we had to make the transaction with physical cash. This can lead to overspending and potentially falling into debt, which can be stressful and lead to mental health issues. Systemic effects. Most of the developed world is moving towards a cashless society, where transactions are mostly digital. This shift has only increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, with many retailers banning cash transactions. The cashless effect means that more individuals are affected by it today, potentially leading to increased consumer debt. Why it happens? The cashless effect occurs because we find it less difficult to part with money when it's not tangible. The pain of payment is less when using digital forms of payment. Digital transactions are less transparent, making it harder to quantify what we're giving up, leading us to make more impulsive spending decisions. Why it's important. Payment mechanisms should not impact our consumer behavior if we were purely rational decision makers. However, the cashless effect demonstrates that our spending habits change with digital payments, leading to irrational purchasing decisions like overspending and incurring debt. How to avoid it? While sticking to cash payments could avoid the cashless effect, it's not always practical. We can create a budget, spend according to the money we already have, and be more mindful about our spending habits to prevent overspending on credit. How it all started. The cashless effect was first studied by Elizabeth Hirschman in 1979, who found that people tend to make larger purchases when using a credit card than when paying in cash. This effect has only grown as society has developed more ways to pay digitally. Examples. 1. Small purchases. Studies have shown that people are willing to spend more even on small purchases, like laundry, when using less transparent payment methods like prepaid cards. 2. Credit card marketing. Research indicates that even the presence of a credit card logo can make people willing to spend more, suggesting that credit cards have become a spending stimulus. In summary, the cashless effect shows how digital payments can lead us to spend more than we would with cash, impacting our financial health and decision-making processes. Now, let's move on to the second topic. What is choice overload? Choice overload happens when we have too many options to choose from, which can make it hard for us to make a decision. It might seem good to have lots of choices, but too many can make us feel overwhelmed. Where this happens. Imagine it's a hot day, and you walk into a coffee shop with lots of drink options. You might find it so hard to decide that you just end up buying a bottle of water because making a choice feels too difficult. Individual effects. Having too many choices can make us delay making a decision. It can also make us less happy with what we choose and more likely to wish we had chosen something else. Systemic effects. Choice overload isn't just about buying things. It can affect big life choices too, like jobs or who we date. Feeling overwhelmed by choices can make us stressed and unhappy. How it affects products. If a product comes in too many types, it can be hard for us to see what makes each one special. But this doesn't happen with everything. Sometimes, for certain things, like souvenirs, we like having lots of options and don't feel stressed by it. Choice overload and AI. Artificial intelligence, like search engines and recommendation systems on streaming services, can help make choosing easier by suggesting a few options based on what we like. This can stop us from feeling overwhelmed by too many choices. Why it happens. Our lives now have way more choices than people had in the past. This can be too much for our brains, and making decisions uses up energy. When we have too many options, we can get tired and find it harder to choose. Why it's important. Too many choices can make us put off important decisions and make us feel sad or stressed. Understanding how choice overload affects us can help us make better decisions and feel happier. How to avoid it. 1. Take time to just look around without planning to buy anything. 1. This can make learning about your options fun and less overwhelming. 2. Think of your choices as final. 2. Once you've made a decision, try not to second guess it too much. 3. Keep a gratitude journal. 3. Write down things you're thankful for every day. 3. This can help you focus on the good things and feel better about your choices. How it all started. The idea of choice overload was first talked about in the 1970s. Since then, studies, like the famous JAM study, have shown that too many options can make us less likely to buy something and less happy with our choices. Examples. 1. Smartphones. Our phones give us so many options for what to do that it can make us feel overwhelmed and hurt our relationships with people around us. 2. Cultural differences. In some cultures, people don't stress as much about having lots of choices because decisions are made differently, which can make them happier. In summary, choice overload shows that having too many options can make it hard to choose and make us less happy. But, by understanding it and finding ways to deal with it, we can make choosing easier and feel better about our decisions.